sorry,
been
guys.
provided to the Co-Star, the official newspaper of the Borough of Belmar, and the Asbury Park Press on December 7, 2016. A notice of this meeting was posted on the bulletin board of the municipal building.
Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please remain standing for a moment of silence to remember our troops abroad and their families here at home. And also, we have a few passings. One of them that comes to mind right now is Doris Taylor, who passed away at the age of 99, which is pretty remarkable. Thank you. Council joining off the dais for a special presentation of bogus winners.
Whoa, whoa, easy.
Doesn't sound good. Bogus winners.
I think that's technically accurate.
Can we get Dennis a shirt that says bogus? Bogus bad checker.
So, in an effort to always keep our employees at Belmar on their toes, no matter where they work, Colleen Connolly, our business administrator, has come up with an idea of giving out bogus beach badge tags to test people who are checking badges. And she sent people out with them, and one of them went to 9th Avenue, and they could not get past Dennis. So we're going to recognize Dennis for his astute work. Come on up for a certificate of excellence. Well done.
Thank you. Whoa. Look at that. Look at this. Wait.
Oh, you gotta turn it in. Once you see the badge.
I'm not turning it in yet. He's got it.
Thanks.
Not yet. No. I gotta show my customers. I didn't finish it with my customers. I will bring it. I will bring it. Mike, tell him, Mike, I will bring it.
Thank you. Don't worry.
When he goes to sleep tonight, take it out of his pocket.
He's having it made to have a second day.
How do you tell it's fake? Is it one color?
It says bogus instead of Belmar.
I will pass this on as soon as I show my customers.
Camille's gonna get it.
And the second person, much more humble, is Ellen Ramey. Ellen, what street are you on? 11th? 8th Avenue. 8th Avenue. Let's give her a round. Now, also to completely embarrass Miss Ellen, I want to read an email I received on the 31st, which was 2 days ago. I've lived in Monmouth County for over 40 years and frequent the beaches. I don't usually write notes like this, but I felt it extremely necessary. This is true. I usually get complaints. People don't usually write notes like this. I have never encountered a beach badge worker like Ellen on 8th Avenue.
Oh, yeah.
She greeted everyone coming and going and was so pleasant. She said, "Thank you for coming to our beach. If you could clone her, you should." I would advise finding a position for her in the off-season. What did you talk about? She's a valued employee. This is Larry from Manalapan. So, here's your certificate. Take a picture.
Put that up there, Ellen. Show us your bogus badge too. There you go.
I have a question.
We're not taking questions from the audience. Thank you.
Point of order.
She gives candy away. That's why.
Congratulations to our hardworking beach staff. And I do want to mention that this is all under the leadership of Mike Campbell. So thank you, Michael, as well.
She gives out candy. And she does.
Bogus.
Thanks.
Next is our workshop. I don't have anything. Any members of the council have anything for workshop discussion? No. All right.
Thank you.
Adios.
Adios. See you at the beach.
They're heading to Bar A right now. Next are petitions. Any petitions for the mayor and council? See any? Next, approval of the minutes.
I move that the minutes of the regular meeting held on July 11th, 2017 be approved as recorded and that a copy thereof be posted on the borough's website.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye. Next, our reports of the council. Council President McGovern is not here, so we will start off with Councilman Walson.
Thank you, Mayor. I've been working, I want to work with Colleen and the police department on resurrecting the Explorer program in Belmar. I mean, I know the school year is coming up, and over the years, we always used to have an Explorer program, and I always thought it was good for the kids. So in the next few weeks, I want to be talking to the chief of police, Colleen, maybe our director of recreation, and trying to come up with a plan on how we can resurrect it and come up with the money to, restart that Police Explorer program, because I think it's a great program for the community, and I think it really accelerates our community policing program. So that I'll be working with Colleen on and the department heads. The other thing I want to just talk about is that 19th Avenue situation where we had the one-way from Lake Como and our one-way coming in together. It was resolved. Colleen had found a letter from DOT that happened about 10 or 15 years ago. And that was, finding that letter actually helped that situation resolve. So I want to thank Colleen for that.
Look at you.
And that's all I have.
That's all. All right. Councilman Brennan.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Harbor Commission met last Tuesday. Things are going very well. One thing that was highlighted, and I want to relay to everybody, is how much work our police department is doing as far as traffic control over there. We all have seen the increase, not only in foot traffic, but automotive traffic as well. Parking seems to be working out very well at the northern end of the parking lot because the head boats are able to get their passengers on with their parking early, and then when they get back, those spaces are empty. Those fishermen go, and then they're available for customers at the restaurant. They've tried several different things as far as maintaining traffic control. One thing that really impressed me was the valet parking wasn't really working out, and Chefs International was very quick to pull the trigger and say, this isn't working out, we're going to get rid of it. And that kind of thing impresses me, that they seem to be very willing to work with us to look for practical solutions to immediate problems. And right now it seems, I mean, except for the fact that there's a lot of volume, I mean, absolutely, after the summer is over, we're going to definitely debrief. We're going to go back and look and see what other improvements can be made. But other than that, I think, I mean, I'll be honest with you, I was really, really, really concerned at the beginning of the summer when the restaurant opened, and I envisioned a lot of foot traffic, just the way we have it now. The police department's been very, very good about having officers there to cross people. You can always tell who the tourists are because when they start to cross the street, they're walking across like this. They really don't know which direction they're going, and the police are very good about getting them across safely. Very, very good. Environmental Commission is working very hard on getting our Sustainable New Jersey certification back. Janice McEwen-Blackburn, who's newly appointed, is working with Colleen Conley, our administrator, on finding the documents, finding what's required. It's basically like a Chinese menu. If you haven't seen it, it's a Chinese menu of things you can do to earn points. You want to try to get, they have a bronze level, they have a silver level, and they're still working on their requirements for a gold level, right? We are, I would assume, even without really doing much more than we already do, we definitely have enough points for gold, I mean for bronze. And we're going to look to see what we can do beyond that. Having a Sustainable New Jersey certification makes us eligible for grants for some of the things we want to do around town anyway. Makes a lot of sense. We're still working on, we're looking for new vendors for our reusable bags. Stop using those plastic bags. I've completely given them up. Would you like a bag, sir? No, thank you, I don't need it. Yeah, I've learned how to carry all kinds of things in my hands. As long as I have my receipt, I'm good. And we are also working with a vendor for our plantings on the beach. That looks like we're almost ready to go, but you don't want to pull the trigger yet. And that's it for me. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilwoman Nicolay.
Yes, happy August. Just want to say a few things. BBP, the cruise night was a big success, and the next one is August 16th. For the Belmar Arts Council, the show taking place right now through August 4th, so please get over there if you can. It's great. It's called the Bird Art Show, on a bird paintings and pictures. And then the show starting after that is August 9th through September 8th is the Dog Days of Summer. I want to give kudos to our borough administrator on our art sessions that take place during our summer camp. So she found an artist that comes in for 4 weeks, and the children paint. The first one was Vincent van Gogh. My son called it Vincent van Mangione. But it's just a great program, and he's thoroughly enjoying it, and the other kids are, so thank you very much. And lastly, the playgrounds are absolutely beautiful, amazing, packed with kids, and just thank everybody involved that got to put that together. So thank you.
Thank you, Councilman. I would also follow up on that point. You know, the playground, both 15th Avenue and 8th Avenue, are really remarkable. And you can see that you get what you pay for. And you know, since 2012, we actually have 8 new playgrounds in town. Every playground in town is new since 2012. And you know, whether you drive by there, run by slowly, or bring your kids, it's full into the evening. I've had some requests, which I don't think we can do. I've had requests for lights, which I don't think is a good idea. I've had requests for making sprinklers part of the park, not from you, but from other people, which I also don't think.
You can get mine on that.
But it's you know, I think it's important as a community to have these amenities for children, and I'm glad we're able to get that done this summer. We still have to put the fence up around it and some landscaping, but if you go by there, it truly is something remarkable, and you can see it's appreciated by the children and the parents that live here in Belmar. As Councilman Walshford mentioned, 19th Avenue has been somewhat resolved, although I'm still not a big fan of local-only traffic signs, but I was out of the country when this was arranged, so I'll go with it for the next
We're getting
next
through the
month.
summer.
I was thinking we'd just put up Jersey barriers and kind of keep it like going. Also, and this is, you know, I think the BBP doesn't get enough credit for some of the things it does. But if people have seen the black planters around Main Street, that's all the Belmar Business Partnership. I believe do we water them, or the?
We planted them and we water them, but it's funded by the
But they purchased
BBP.
them, right. And it's the little things like that really make a difference. The challenge we have is how long our Main Street is. When you go from 5th Ave all the way to 16th Avenue, that's a lot longer than, say, Spring Lake or Manasquan. That's a long Main Street, or Seagirt. But I can tell you, because of that, and really our Department of Public Works is doing an outstanding job. I get numerous compliments on how great the town looks, particularly how many activities there are. Last Wednesday, we held one of the dances for the Circle of Friends, and right after that was a movie on the beach. Last night, and every Monday night, is the John Luckenbill Orchestra at Taylor Pavilion. And then tonight at Taylor Pavilion is the Rumbler Band. Tomorrow night at Taylor Pavilion is Circle of Friends dances. Thursday night is Brookdale. So basically Monday through Thursday, there's something to do up on the beachfront, and then come off the beachfront on Friday for the concerts in the park, or concerts in the Piano Plaza.
And the camps during the day.
That's true. Well, the camps are the Belmar Children's Camp is at Taylor Pavilion during the day as well. Nice to have camp on the beach. We should all have camp on the beach. So I would tell you, I know it's already August 1, which is disheartening, because that means there's actually ads for back to school and stuff. Sorry, Tom. But I got to tell you, I'm really happy with the Department of Public Works, our police department, again, our beach staff. Everyone's doing a really remarkable job this summer. This truly is a really great place to live and have some wonderful amenities that we can all they all can participate in. That's it for me. Next is public session for the resolution calendar. So if anyone has a comment, question on the resolution calendar, raise your hand, wait to be recognized, come to the microphone. Sir, did you have from Jaeger?
Yes.
Now would be the time to come up. Just state your name, address for the record.
My name is Merrill Yeager. My address is 610 10th Avenue, Belmar. I'm opposed to the designation of redevelopment on my property. I'm opposed to the redevelopment zone. There are many long-term businesses in that zone that serve the public. They don't need anyone to tell them what to do with their property, and certainly I don't. I also was wondering why I was never notified. I had to go to the Common Sense for Belmar website to even find out what was going on here. What's that about?
Well, this resolution would kick off a notification. It's not a designation. It's a request for the planning board to investigate to see if it should be designated. So the notification requirement would come after this step.
But wouldn't you think that I would be interested in this?
This was at the request of the planning board. The planning board asked our mayor and council to consider this resolution. So that's why it's here tonight.
But I will say it, and if you don't want to be a part of it,
No, I don't.
I'm sure the planning board can omit it,
Why would they even think to include me?
because of the benefits that it affords business owners.
It doesn't afford me any benefits.
Then they'll exclude you.
Perfect. Thank you.
You're welcome. Any other comments, questions on the resolution calendar? Yes.
Hi, Katrina Clapp, 6 B Street. Good evening, everybody. Happy summer. My question is about the change order for the Main Street streetscape project. It's the second change order. Does that mean it's costing us more money to redo the street? Were we still within budget of what we were granted that money, I believe, correct?
Colin can probably best answer this.
Sure, this is change order number 2. Change order number 1 was a negative change order that brought down the value of the contract quite significantly. This is change order number 2, which increases the amount of the contract for $34,000. This is to address unforeseen conditions when the sidewalks were opened and certain ADA gradings were difficult to meet. And so it required additional pavers, additional fill. It's under 4% of the contract value, which is well to be expected in the nature of construction. You see little ups and little downs in the course of the job.
Okay, is there some kind of, could be a rumor, correct me if I'm wrong, but is there some kind of problem with the electrical lighting along the street?
Is that
The
part of
light.
is that a question? It's a question
Well,
on
I
resolution
believe
calendar.
that was done under the I believe, my question is because I know we're talking about the Main Street streetscape, so my question is some of this change order for also, there was a problem with the electrical portion?
No, none of this change order has to do with any electrical. It's about pavers.
Oh, it has to do with the street, okay. But is there a problem with the streetscape?
That's something we can take up on public session if you'd like.
Oh, that's more public session, okay. And now my second question is about the redevelopment situation. Correct me if I'm wrong, and maybe I'm wrong, but Mayor Doherty, are you allowed to, and maybe our attorney can tell me, are you allowed to vote on the resolution? Because aren't you in conflict? So are you allowed to vote tonight on this?
I'm going to recuse myself.
You're going to recuse yourself. And, excuse me, Ms. Nicolay, I believe you had a violation which is against you, and I'm just wondering if that prohibits Ms. Nicolay from voting on this?
I have no idea
No
what
idea.
you're talking about.
Nobody has no idea?
I don't either.
Didn't you have a campaign violation that you, I don't know, you didn't report some, it wasn't a lot of money, it was like $500 or something, and the state of New Jersey held you at a violation?
It has nothing to do with this ordinance, it has nothing to do with whether.
Well, I know it
or the
doesn't have anything
resolution,
to do,
I'm sorry.
I know it doesn't have to do with the resolution, but doesn't it say somewhere in our ordinance that if there is a violation, that you can't vote on certain things for 3 years?
Not that I'm aware of.
No, that's not.
No.
That's not what it says? Okay, good, all right, good. So you're going to recuse yourself and you're good? Okay.
Thank you for
Thank you.
checking.
Any comments, questions on the resolution calendar? Seeing none, I'll make a motion to close the public session for the resolution calendar.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Next, I will turn the resolutions over to Jennifer.
Right. I offer and move resolution authorizing payment of bills.
For a second?
Have a second?
Second.
Okay, Councilman Brennan?
Yes.
Councilman Nicolay?
Yes.
Councilman Walker?
Just before I vote on it, there was one payment that we made to the Gibbons law firm. Is there any ceiling or is there any dollar amount that we know to finish up some of these lawsuits, or we have, or is it just
The Gibbons retention is covering 4 separate pieces of litigation stemming from either the owners of the boathouse or the local development suit. One of those matters, as you all well know, is now in settlement execution. The other matters are pending. We have obtained a government rate from Gibbons, and our insurance carrier is reimbursing us for approximately 50% of whatever we pay to Gibbons. So a good deal of that money will come back to us.
Oh, okay. All right, yes.
And next, I offer and move for resolution awarding a lease agreement for Zuma. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Okay. Councilman Brennan?
Yes.
Councilman Nicolay?
Yes.
Councilman Walker?
Yes.
I offer and move resolution pursuant to NJAC 5:30-14.4, sequence change order number 2 for the rebid of the Main Street streetscape project. Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, Councilman Brennan?
Yes.
Councilman Nicolay?
Yes.
Councilman Walker?
Yes.
And I offer and move resolution of the Mayor and Borough Council of the Borough of Belmar and the County of Monmouth, New Jersey, directing the planning board to investigate whether certain properties should be designated as an area in need of redevelopment without condemnation, non-condemnation redevelopment area. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Councilman Brennan?
Before I vote, I just wanted to check, I mean, the gentleman was just saying that he doesn't want his property included in this. We're directing the planning board to investigate.
To investigate, and I will
And they
talk
will-
about that specific
Okay,
parcel
and they will
concern.
know that, okay. All right, good, yes.
Councilman Nicolay?
Yes.
Councilman Walker?
Yes.
Thank you, Councilman. Next is our consent agenda. I'll offer and move the consent agenda.
Second.
Councilman Brennan?
Yes.
Councilwoman Nicolay?
Yes.
Mayor Doherty?
Yes.
Councilman Walker?
Yes.
Next are ordinances. This is second reading, public hearing, ordinance 2017-17, ordinance of the Borough of Belmar amending revised general ordinances, chapter 19, traffic to add sections 19-42, ride share pickup drop-off zones previously reserved. This is on for second reading, so public hearing is now open on this ordinance. This is the ordinance that designates areas for ride sharing. The companies you probably know are companies like Uber and Lyft, but it's not limited to them. It could be people dropping off their brothers, sisters, friends. Seeing no public comment on this, I will make a motion to close the public hearing for ordinance 2017-17.
Second?
All in favor?
Next, I'll offer move for adoption, ordinance 2017-17.
Second.
Councilman Brennan?
Yes.
Councilwoman Nicolay?
Yes.
Mayor Doherty?
Yes.
Councilman Walker?
Yes.
Next are ordinances for first reading and introduction, so there's no public hearing on this. Ordinance 2017-18, first reading and introduction. Ordinance of the Borough of Belmar amending revised general ordinances, Chapter 25, buildings, and revised general ordinance, Chapter 40, development regulations to establish new regulations related to awnings and canopies. This is what we discussed at our last workshop. Do I have a second?
Second.
Councilman Brennan?
Just to be clear, this is, part of this ordinance involves if someone is applying for a permit for outdoor dining, this basically.
This ties together the idea
Yeah,
of the.
it's like one-stop shopping for somebody who wants to do that, someone who owns business. I think this is a great idea, yes.
Councilman Nicolay?
Yes.
Mayor Doherty?
Yes, and I want to congratulate Councilman Walsifer on his first ordinance.
Councilman Walsifer?
Just before I vote, I'd like to thank Greg for putting this together. He did a great job, and the wording is perfect, so yes. Thank you.
Ordinance 2017-19, first reading and introduction. No public hearing, just first reading and introduction. Ordinance of the Borough of Belmar, amending revised general ordinance of Chapter 18, beachfront and marine regulations to insert sections 18-2.7C, previously reserved, prohibiting use of tents and canopies on the beachfront at certain times with exceptions. This is on for, I'll offer for first reading and introduction. Just need a second.
Second.
Councilman Brennan?
I'm really, this is kind of taking me a little bit by surprise. This is something I haven't had a chance to discuss. Have we actually had complaints about this kind of thing?
Yeah, we have an issue, and our superintendent, Department of Public Works, could explain better, where people take these 10 by 10 tents, and they kind of join with other 10 by 10 tents, and another 10 by 10 tent.
Yep.
And all of a sudden, it's called beach spreading, where people come in and all of a sudden they take over mountainous
Like
areas.
man spreading, only with sand.
You got it.
Yes.
But in this, we designate certain dates.
Yes.
So it's really for the summertime only, when we have somebody going to the beach. So if someone did want to have one of those tents, and it was in the spring or fall, and
Okay.
typically that'd probably be a Belmar resident, that's still permitted. This is just because of, again, I've been using a phrase someone else coined, beach spreading, where they just kind of take over.
This would be from Memorial Day to Labor Day, and it
That was my
excludes-
other question. The times and exceptions are just outside the
It
season.
excludes, of course, beach umbrellas and baby shade pop-ups.
Correct, that's a good point. There's a lot of families that bring these little pop-up tents, and they're designed for children, maybe to take a nap in, or to change them, or do whatever you gotta do with a baby or a toddler.
Right.
So those will still be permitted, so we're not
Right.
trying to dissuade those. What we're trying to dissuade are those large ones that you
Yes.
see like in people's backyards, or parks, things like that, which, or honestly, tailgating at MetLife Stadium, things like that,
Yeah.
which doesn't seem to really work well on our beach.
No,
particularly.
I remember reading in the Antwerp Park Press that some of the shore towns further south have definitely had a problem with it. I think it was being reported in the press. And I was just wondering if anybody had specifically, are we acting proactively, which I think is actually a good idea.
Well, it has not gotten out of hand, but we'd rather have this in place.
I agree. So I'm going to vote yes.
Councilman Nicolay?
And I was just going to say, my neighbor had said that her daughter got hit by this huge tent. It was definitely kind of inappropriate for the beach. So I'm glad to see this as well, just for safety purposes. So I say yes.
Mayor
Yes.
Doherty? Councilman Walsifer?
Yeah, I've asked a lot of our residents on this ordinance to get some feedback from it, and everybody that seems to live in Belmar is actually for this ordinance. It's mostly people in town that are putting them up, so I'm going to vote yes.
Next ordinance, 2017-20, first reading introduction, bond ordinance, providing a supplemental appropriation of $500,000 for sidewalk improvements in and by the Borough of Belmar, County of Monmouth, New Jersey, authorizing the issuance of $475,000 in bonds or notes of the borough to finance part of the cost thereof, and directing the special assessment of the cost thereof. This is on for first reading and introduction.
Yes, I'll second.
Okay. Councilman Brennan?
Yes.
Councilman Nicolay?
Yes.
Mayor Doherty?
Yes, and also this is just a continuation of what we've been doing in town. It's been very successful. This is sort of phase 2. We actually ran out of money because of how popular the program was. Yes.
Councilman Walsifer?
Yes.
Next ordinance, I will step off for. Councilwoman?
I'll offer ordinance 2017-21, first reading and introduction. Ordinance of the Borough of Belmar amending the revised general ordinance, Chapter 21, taxi cabs, to establish new procedures for auctioning licenses and to establish new procedures for issuing available licenses between auctions. Do I have a second?
Second.
Councilman Brennan?
Yes.
Councilwoman Nicolay?
Yes.
Councilman Walsberg?
Just before I vote, Colleen, can you just explain to everybody the changes that are in this?
This is
ordinance?
to clean up some ordinance language that got a little clunky. A few years ago, we did an ordinance change at the request of the borough clerk, which was a great idea, to auction off seasonal taxi licenses. It was very popular the first year, and they all sold at auction. I will tell you, I believe with the rise of Uber and Lyft, those seasonal licenses are not quite as attractive and well sought after. As a result, we had some excess licenses that did not sell at auction. We attempted to then sell them under the old ordinance, the existing ordinance, and our attorney advised us that there was, again, some clunky language there. It would be better to clean it up. That's what we're bringing you here tonight. It's essentially giving us the ability to do both an auction or sell under the normal procedures if they don't all sell.
Okay, thank you. Yes.
Thank you, Councilman. That concludes ordinances. Next is public session. Before we start public session, do you need to, it's 6:30? No.
Thank you very much. Excuse me.
Jennifer has important children's basketball games to attend.
Bouncy, bouncy, bouncy. Love basketball.
Thank you.
So yes, so we're open for public session. Any public comment, please raise your hand. Wait to be called on, come to the microphone, state your name and address for the record, and whatever's on your mind. Yes.
Hi, Katrina Claxton, B Street. I'm back up here to ask about the electric lights on Main Street. Is there a problem with them?
Michael, is there any problem with electric lights on Main Street?
The problem came with JCP&L having some low lights and other issues like that, which I believe we're working through and hope to have them up by or shortly after Labor Day.
So when you say JCP&L had problems, is the lines were touching or something? It was the installation of the lighting itself? What was actually the problem?
Too close to their wires.
Okay. And so we have to, what do we have to do?
We're working through that with JCP&L. It's really, the ball's in their court.
It's really
They're
an
telling
issue
us what to do.
between the borough engineer and JCP.
Okay. So the responsibility of them being too low and touching is the borough engineer's responsibility? That was done?
It's a bit more complex than that.
Could you explain a little?
It's old infrastructure that is too close to a standard street light. So our engineer is working with JCP&L to resolve the issue.
I guess my question is more like when it was being planned, wasn't that thought of when it was being planned
Well, when
by
they-
the engineer?
Well, they chose standard streetlights.
Ah.
The problem is JCP&L's cables sag down so low
Mhm.
beyond what they should be sagging. So they're coming into close proximity, which is not permitted.
Okay, so the cost of any changes is going to be on the borough, I would assume?
That's not accurate.
Incorrect assumption.
Okay, well, that's what I'm asking. So who will the cost of any changes be to?
That's to be determined based on how they work
They're
out.
being worked out between the
Right.
engineer and JCP&L.
And one more question about what Mr. Officer just asked about the Gibbons Law Firm. Did I hear you correctly, Colleen, when you said that our insurance will reimburse us 50% of their fee? Is that what?
Would you like me to answer her question?
Yes.
Some portions of the Harmon Brothers lawsuits are reimbursable by insurance at a rate of approximately 50% of the government rate of Gibbons, is what I said.
Okay, so that means then some of it is not reimbursed by insurance.
Correct. Some of it is, some of it is not.
Okay, okay, thank you.
Any other questions, comments? Yes.
Nancy Koenig, 303 C Street. I'm just curious about the 10th Avenue Pavilion. Do you think we might be in it before Labor Day? What's happening?
It's already
We're
open
in.
and working.
We've been in for a few weeks now.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Very well. Any comments, questions? Yes, sir.
David Shack, 302 C Street. Just two things. First, about the tent ordinance. Actually, what you didn't mention was the worst thing with these tents. And some people, and this happened to us, put up tents with sides right by the water's edge, you know, and blocks everybody's view of the water. People want to keep an eye on their kids and such. And that's really like the worst thing with these tents. At least the ones that are like canopies, you can see through them, and those are usually set up further back from the water. But the ones with sides, except for the little ones for babies, you know, those things are just terrible, you know, and people don't even care though. Like, we were sitting by the water's edge, and then after a few hours, and the tide went out, and there was more land in front of us, and people set up this big, huge tent, like a camping tent, you know, right in front of us, you know. So I'm in favor of that. I hope you do pass it, and I hope that kind of tent is certainly included in that, and I hope that it's enforced. The other thing is, I was walking down the boardwalk the other day, and I noticed 10th Avenue Freeze Out, and this was just a few days ago. 10th Avenue Freeze Out wasn't open yet. Are they open now, or?
No, they're not open now. They paid their rent for the year, but they have chosen not to open yet.
Oh, okay, thank you.
Any other comments, questions? Yes.
Angela Pfeiffer, 319 Fifth Avenue. Seems to be a lot of stuff going around about Taylor Pavilion and Merrymakers, and what exactly do they have the right to?
Well, Merrymakers bid on and was awarded the contract to operate a concession there. They pay $9,100 a month for that.
Right.
For 12 months. I know there's a decent amount of misinformation
That's why I just wanted to
that's
clear it
been
up.
floated out purposely, which I don't understand. And I would tell you, you know, when we were fighting to get the Taylor Pavilion rebuilt, it was a political nonsense and silly lawsuits. And there was misinformation there that was intentionally distributed. And you know, that's politics. But to actually go after a business, saying, you know, not saying, hey, I ate there and their food was bad, but saying they're doing things inappropriately and illegal. I mean, honestly, I would encourage, and I hope Merrymakers takes legal action against anyone who's trying to damage their business and if they're trying to damage their reputation. Merrymakers has done nothing wrong, absolutely nothing. They have booked dates in the future just like anyone else can. They've paid for those dates just like anyone else can. So, no, they are a very good operator. We consider them a partner. We're lucky to have them there. And hopefully they're successful on into the future. And every resident should hopefully be successful because of how much they pay to be up there. Yeah, I mean, I would encourage you to go there and meet with them. Excellent people.
I have nothing against them as an operation. I was just surprised when I heard that they were able to book so many dates in advance without really having events per se, but more of a to be determined.
Well,
because that almost guarantees that we've got weddings there every single weekend, and I don't think that's what the residents had in mind for Taylor Pavilion.
Well, I spoke to them indirectly through Colleen, and you know, I told them, listen, you know, and again, they're partners with us. They could book every weekend, as long as they pay for it, they could book every weekend from now until eternity.
Was that what we really want, though?
Well, no, but I'm saying that's what they're permitted to do. They're not going to, practically speaking, right? But if you know, they're not booked at all during July, and they're not booked at all during August. And that was at our request, so that, you know, we don't overburden the residents. But in the shoulder months, we have no community events there on the dates that they're booked. We have none. So whether it was them or someone else for a private event, you know, to us, they booked in advance, they paid for them, just like anyone else could. We could not say no to them, nor would we want to. So, yeah, no, they did everything proper and through the.
No, I'm not saying they didn't do any, believe me, that's not what.
No, not you, but I'm sure
I
that's.
was just surprised.
Misinformation that you've heard.
Because when there was all the talk about should we rebuild Taylor, the focus was community events and the Boy Scouts and the Girl Scouts and the Women's Club and the this. And that's what I kind of envisioned for Taylor. I didn't envision it as a catering hall every single weekend. And that's what
right,
it
and
could
that's
turn
a
out
good
to
point.
be. And I'm just wondering, is that what we want for the town?
It's not going to be a catering hall every weekend. There are, as you mentioned, all those groups are going to be up there. The only group that has a permanent presence inside of Taylor Pavilion, when I say Taylor Pavilion, I mean the space you can rent, is the Belmar Women's Club. And because I promised that to them years ago. I'm sure someone has a problem with that, and they'll come up and say something wrong with that. I'm not saying you, but I'm sure someone will. But no, everything there is done appropriately. Taylor Pavilion is a huge asset to our community, and there are not going to be weddings every weekend. But for those days that they booked, yeah, they have the ability to do that, or they could always not use a day. I mean, think about it, if they don't have a wedding, they're out the money.
Right, but
So-
they've gotten space for a very inexpensive, for a catering hall to get an oceanfront space for the same thing that it would cost a resident, and they're now turning it into a money-making proposition, and it's a community venue.
Well, it is absolutely a community venue. You're right, and they're permitted to take those dates. If other people wanted to, they could take them as well, as long as they paid in advance.
Right, but if I book those dates, I can't make money. I'm not going to book it and run a wedding there. They're booking it at
So
the
you're
same
saying-
price that it would cost me, and they're making a lot of money on our tax dollars that paid to go to build Taylor. I mean, we bonded for that, and if we don't get reimbursed, it's on our backs.
Yeah, I understand, and we're going to get reimbursed. But I would tell you, they're paying a lot of money. I mean, they're paying $9,100 a month. Multiply it by 12, they're paying a tremendous amount of money. So my point is this. By them booking in advance, they're permitted to do that. If you think we should increase how much it costs, we could look at that. Should we stop people from booking in advance? I don't think so. But we can take a look at it. But I would tell you, the misinformation out there is incredible. And again, it seems odd, it seems dumb that it's directed at a business. It's one thing to say misinformation about me. It's another thing, not you, but to say information about a business.
Yeah, I
Again,
don't
look
have
at
anything about, I
legal-
mean, my understanding is they have a very good reputation.
Yeah.
And I understand the food that they are serving at Cruise Bay is pretty decent. But, the back deck, if you will, kind of has fond memories. When we were deciding to move to Belmar and we looked at the house and we were trying to decide what to do, we went behind Taylor Pavilion and sat on the rocking chairs and decided to move to Belmar. So I've been looking forward to those rocking chairs coming back and it being a community thing. And now, when you go on Merrymaker's website, they're showing bars back there and drinking on the beach, and it's very different. I mean, have you gone on their website?
I have not.
Okay, go on their website, and it says, "We are pleased to announce our latest venue, Taylor Pavilion." It's not their venue.
I'm sure we can ask them to change the terminology. If
And now there's another catering hall, Falco's. They're also saying, "Our latest venue, Taylor Pavilion." Taylor Pavilion belongs to the people of Belmar. It does not belong to Merrymaker.
You're right. You're absolutely right.
So I think they're giving people the understanding that it's theirs, and I think that's a mistake, because it's not, it's ours.
Well, we can discuss with them on the language they use.
It's on their website.
But it's, we can discuss it.
And there's pictures, and there's people drinking on the beach, and the whole back deck is their bar. I just don't think it's what we wanted for the people,
Well, we'll take a look at it. We certainly anticipated people having weddings there, no doubt. I would tell you, most of it is used for community events. I mean, just before I listed a whole Monday through Thursday. And every day, Monday through Friday, the kids camps are there. So for anyone to say that, oh, it's a catering hall, that's not true. Did they reserve it and get dates? Yeah, they did. And other people have as well.
Right, so if I wanted to have something on one of the dates that they've reserved, if I call Borough Hall, I would be told that date's taken, correct?
Correct, and we would offer you alternate dates and work with you.
But yet it's really still available, I would just have to book it through Merrymaker,
No.
because they reserved that
As
date.
far as we're concerned, it's not available.
It's not available.
Right, that's-
not-
Right, but if I booked it, because I thought I was gonna have a retirement party for whomever, and you said, hey, listen, man, I'd really like that date, we could work something out. I mean, that's a possibility, but if you call, no, you're right, if I booked the date, if April booked the date, it's gone. If Merrymaker booked the date, it's gone. That's all true.
I just think
Whether
with
you
them-
live in town or live out of town.
Well, but I just think with them booking so many dates, they're at an advantage over the local residents. And they stand to make a boatload of money on a very small rental fee. Whereas if I want to book a retirement party or a baby shower, I'm not making money on that. I'm having something in my hometown. I just see it as a little bit different and something to think about.
Understand. Thank you. Appreciate it. Yes, ma'am.
Linda Chilson, L Street. Just a little follow-up on that. I've thought the same concerns that just been expressed. I think many people have. Something else occurred to me. With all of these weekend dates potentially being receptions, wedding receptions, and a wedding reception could start from, depending on the couple, it could be 3 o'clock, it could be 5 o'clock, it could be 2 o'clock. The parking in the area, what has been considered in terms of, is a portion of the current parking going to be reserved and blocked off when we know that there's an event scheduled? Are they committed to have valet parking 100% at some location outside of town because the town can't absorb more? What has the thoughts been about the volume of people going to this particular location? Same thing as the marina. We can't absorb what's going to the marina. But what's the plan for Taylor?
There's no reserve parking. Whether they valet or not is up to them. I know they've been in discussions with entities in town of where they can park cars, but we're not providing any parking facilities for them.
Okay, so I know the fishing club had areas blocked off when they had some of their events last summer. We won't see any areas blocked off for any events this year and in the future.
Correct.
All right. Question 2, just thinking about this, I think well-considered concern about the tents on the beach. That's another thing that's going to require enforcement, obviously. Just like the soccer games and the baseballs and everything else that's thrown across families sitting on the beach. And the beaches are very well utilized, as we all know. Very little space for that kind of play. You said before that the lifeguard's responsible when they see something to say something and get it stopped. With the rip currents and the attention that the lifeguard should be giving to the water and the safety of the residents and visitors, should we not be using these seasonal police on the sand, walking up and down, being responsible guardians of the safety of our visitors and residents? They're you see them in groups, either in front of the stores or on the boardwalk. Why aren't they on the sand being enforcement?
They are on the sand enforcing rules and regulations. You can
They're
shake
not
your head and say
visible.
no, yes, they are.
Every time I've been to the beaches, I've seen police.
And they're enforcing. The lifeguards are not responsible for
Yeah, we've written
enforcing
many
the law.
summonses,
Hmm?
many summonses on the beach.
They've been doing it?
Oh, yeah, many,
Yeah.
many summonses.
When I said lifeguards, lifeguards are responsible for people primarily in the water. The concerns that was voiced to us, to me in particular, was people who were playing ball, throwing
I remember.
footballs at the water's edge, in the water.
No, on sand.
Well, at the water's edge, in front of the lifeguards. If it's behind the lifeguards, then clearly the lifeguards aren't responsible for it. They can't say it's water.
Okay, there was no distinction made when this has been brought up 2 years in a row, actually.
Well, it was my understanding what the woman was asking about was, or was concerned was, children in the water, people playing ball in the water. If it's behind the lifeguard, then it's the police
Okay, and
department.
that's being addressed on a
Yep.
consistent
Yes, it is,
basis?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Hi, Order. Mike Seebeck, 110 Second Avenue. Good evening, Mayor and Council. The first question I have is, with regard to the Taylor Pavilion, are the taxpayers of Belmar responsible for the utilities for that building year-round? Because I understand that it has very up-to-date HVAC and heating, so it can be operated all year-round, correct?
Yeah, I'm sure the CFO will split it appropriately between the beach utility and the taxpayers.
Okay.
As it was with the past pavilion.
Yeah, I didn't think the building had that good heating system prior to Taylor Pavilion, but I know this one has been brought up to date. And what is the rental for Taylor Pavilion for anyone to use on a weekend day, Saturday, Sunday?
It depends on the event.
Depends upon the event? Is it possible to get an approximate figure? I'm just curious.
It depends on the event. If it's you and 20 people, no alcohol, have an event,
$40.
$40.
$40. So,
If it's someone throwing a wedding with a bonfire, $1,500 plus police, plus you got to get insurance. So with alcohol, it depends on the event.
the second thing is I saw the town had expressed an interest in assuming the old Montessori school as another facility for our organizations in town. Has anyone put together any kind of proposed budget as to what the assumption of that building is going to cost in terms of operations, maintenance, or anything like that?
Well, the nice thing is there'll be no rent. We're not purchasing the building. We're going to rent the building for free. So all we'll be responsible for are the utilities and the maintenance. Now, the good thing is we have our own Department of Public Works. So the maintenance is going to be pretty negligible. Utilities be dependent on the usage. I will tell you, I don't believe there's any air conditioning aside from window units. And there's a boiler that's about as old as Moses. But the nice thing is, again, we have a Department of Public Works that can maintain a lot of this stuff. So we'll have to pay water, sewer, electric, and gas. Do we know what the approximate numbers are?
We're budgeting about $1,000 a month.
About $1,000 a month in utilities.
Okay. Because I honestly, again, I thought more of these organizations would meet at the Taylor Pavilion and stuff like that. It sounds to me.
Well, Taylor Pavilion is more for events than a meeting space. I mean, if I don't know, you've been there maybe, but it's not designed for a meeting space. Whereas having the school and the church, because we get the church with it, you can have the Boy Scouts and the Girl Scouts upstairs. They can have their own lockers. They can have their own space. Again, the only people who have their own space, Taylor Pavilion, the Belmar Women's Club, because they're special. But downstairs, and it's not an ADA compliant building, it's just not. Downstairs is where we want to do senior programs and tie in some of the programs that our library does. Our library does outstanding programs, really phenomenal stuff, but it's so small. So take some of those programs as well and bring them over. And then, you know, the other thing that the church is leaving us is a remarkable AV audiovisual stuff in the equipment in the church itself. So whether we're going to do movies or other
Concerts, youth club events.
Youth club events,
It's awesome.
things at night, So the idea is to sort of have a rollover. During the day, it would be more senior programming, and at night, it would be more youth programming.
Okay, I'm not questioning the facility itself, I'm questioning kind of the redundancy of having another facility when I thought a lot of this stuff was going to be earmarked for the Taylor Pavilion usage. That's one of the reasons why, in terms of the rebuild, it was marketed as operating year-round for the benefit of the residents, et cetera, et cetera.
Yes.
And it just sounds to me like now we need another facility because we're not going to have as much access to the Taylor Pavilion as...
No, I mean, one of the things I always thought would be good would be have a senior center. The Taylor Pavilion was never designed to be a senior center, ever.
Well, it is ADA compliant.
Oh, it is ADA compliant too. The first floor of the Montessori, or the Methodist church and school is ADA compliant. It's just you can't go upstairs. But we're not going to have senior program upstairs anyway. But the Taylor Pavilion, and I know because I fought hard for this, was always designed to be a community space for events, just like it was before. We have our senior lunches. We're going to have them there. I know the last one wasn't there because it ran into a conflict with the children that are at the day camp. There are going to be scheduling conflicts because of how popular it is within our own community. We'll manage through that, particularly this is our first summer operating in the Taylor Pavilion. What the Methodist church and school gives us for essentially $12,000 a year is a whole nother facility to have, I don't want to say events, but to have more daily programming either through the library or through senior programs that wouldn't be able to be offered at Taylor on a daily basis anyway.
Okay. One last thing. Would there be any possibility of, again, especially in the shoulder months, like September, where the beaches obviously will be very well attended, and the Merrymakers company needing parking to have a wedding at Taylor Pavilion, the use of the lawn in front of the Heisman gazebo for parking?
We've used that in the past for events at Taylor, for Military Appreciation Day. We do it sparingly. I don't think we'd want to make it a regular occurrence.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Any questions, comments for the council? Seeing none, I'll make a motion to, Mr. Campbell, you guys come up, state your name and address for the record.
Michael Campbell, 7th Avenue. Actually speaking to you...
Sorry.
I call me short.
You're shorter than Mr. Seebeck, sorry.
I just wanted to thank the mayor, council, and the hard work by Colleen for the parks as a grandfather. I have 5 grandchildren. They have all already visited the 8th Avenue and 15th Avenue parks. In planning them, I know Colleen went out of her way with your all blessing for the coloring. I think everything works. There was a lot of planning that went into that. I know that because I was there. But as a resident of Belmar, I think Belmar has become a destination for children and families to go to the parks. When I was there this weekend, people were saying that we're seeing a lot of out-of-town people coming just to go to our park because it's unique. It has the merry-go-round swings. It has the mommy and me swings where the mommy can, or daddy, or grandpa can sit on the swing, look your child in the eyes and swing with them. And it's a wonderful thing. So again, I know that was a debate in the beginning because we were bonding the money, but I just want to say thank you as a resident. I think they're wonderful. I think all of our hard work and their blessings of the mayor and council were well worthwhile, but I think these parks are amazing. If you go by them, as you said earlier, from 7 o'clock in the morning until dark, there are happy people and happy children there swinging on our swings, and I think that's what Belmar should be. So I just want to say thank you.
Thank you, Ron. Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
And the item.
I'm fine. Okay.
Protection.
Claire Dyke, 1017 14th Avenue. On behalf of the Belmar Women's Club, I want to thank you implicitly for allowing us to use the Taylor Pavilion once again. I had my little granddaughter with me on Friday, and she wanted to see what was inside. And we went in the kitchen, and on the cabinets, it says Belmar Women's Club, Belmar Women's Club, Belmar Women's Club. So I thank you so much for that. Also, with regard to the Methodist Church, I know that once that you found out that it was going to be given up as a church, that you immediately looked into it as a senior center. I envision a senior center, a place where seniors can go in at certain times of the day, enjoy each other's company. I know that there are seniors who live by themselves who don't have any socialization. I thought that was an opportune time to grab onto that. So to say that one shouldn't be and one should be, I don't see that we can, envision a collusion of any sort or anything of that nature, because I thought that was wonderful. And I went to the Methodist Church for yoga for many years. There's an exceptionally fine kitchen there. So and I think that the people who are wondering about that, they should go in to look at that facility. The room is huge. It's not like the seniors are being put off. It's huge. There's a kitchen there. There's a place for movies. And a lot of our seniors are lonely. This would be a wonderful, wonderful opportunity for them to socialize. So I think that's fantastic. I think the two complement each other. So again, thank you on behalf of the Belmar Women's Club.
You're very welcome. With that, 7 o'clock, make a motion to close the public portion of our meeting and adjourn.
All in favor?
Did you get
Aye.
my note about the church?
Thank you.
7 o'clock.
7:01.